Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Let's start with a simple reality. Most product challenges do not begin during development. They begin much earlier, when requirements are unclear, fragmented, and constantly evolving. In one of our engagements with a large fintech organization in the debt management space, we encountered this exact situation. The client's initial ask was simply, build an intelligent assistant for case management. Now, that sounds like a direction, but not necessarily a requirement. The real challenge was understanding what the client actually needed, identifying the gaps, and converting scattered business inputs into something teams could confidently execute on. Traditionally, this process would involve multiple workshops, long requirement cycles, repeated back-and-forth discussions, and weeks of documentation effort. But what if that entire process could be accelerated using Gen AI in a structured and governed way? That's exactly what we did. We started by collecting all available raw inputs, emails, meeting notes, call discussions, and scattered requirement documents. And rather than using AI only for summarization, we leveraged highly structured prompts designed to drive clarity before solutioning. Each prompt also explicitly instructs the AI not to make assumptions unless the information has been clearly provided. Let's see this action. Here we are using Copilot as a tool to clarify the ambiguous business requirement. The result was far more meaningful than a simple summary. The output helped us identify clear business goals, uncover missing information, and even surface questions the client themselves had not explicitly articulated. Once the problem space became clearer, the next step was generating the Business Requirements Document, or BRD. But we did not stop at documentation alone. We introduced an additional challenge and validation layer through carefully engineered prompts. The BRD prompt allowed us to generate not only a structured BRD, but also an AI-driven risk and gap analysis that highlighted potential concerns, ambiguities, and dependency areas very early in the lifecycle. From there, we moved into step 3, and generating Functional Requirements Document, or FRD, while maintaining strict traceability between requirements and functional outcomes. Using the FRD prompt, the system generated detailed functional specifications, mapped requirements directly to features, and even identified potential gaps in implementation coverage. What previously took days, or sometimes even weeks, was now being achieved within minutes. But the value did not stop at requirement documentation. We moved to step 4. Using the BRD and FRD as inputs, Gen AI also helped us better understand the end users of the platform. For this engagement, we generated personas such as case agents and auditors, mapped their journeys, identified operational pain points like manual searches and processing delays, and highlighted inefficiencies across workflows. Now in step 5. From the same functional documents, BRD and FRD, we will create product backlog using a standardized prompt. The backlog generation process doesn't stop at documentation. The prompt also asks Copilot to structure the output in a JIRA-compatible format, including epic hierarchy, feature grouping, story metadata, acceptance criteria, edge cases, and traceability references, so it can be consumed by downstream automation for automatic JIRA backlog creation. As requirements are processed, epics are automatically created and organized. Each epic is then broken down into detailed user stories, with complete descriptions, clear acceptance criteria, and identified edge cases. What once required hours of manual backlog creation is now available in a consistent, implementation-ready format. This significantly reduced backlog refinement effort and minimized ambiguity during development cycles. There was also one additional step that proved extremely valuable. Before moving into design and development, we performed a failure scenario analysis using another structured prompt. This helped us proactively identify hidden risks like prioritization and decision logic risks, missed scenarios like incorrect or misleading prioritization, operational blockers, and adoption challenges before implementation even began. In other words, we were solving problems before they reached production. So, what was the overall impact? Requirement engineering became nearly 50% faster. Design cycles accelerated significantly. Teams experienced far less ambiguity, even when the initial inputs were unclear. And most importantly, business, product, and engineering teams operated with much stronger alignment throughout the lifecycle. The goal here is not to replace product thinking with AI. The goal is to accelerate product thinking using AI in a structured, reliable, and scalable way. And that is how we move from ambiguity to clarity, faster, smarter, and with greater confidence. Thank you for watching this demo.